welcome to Motivation and Momentum, the podcast that's fueling the inspiration across Monongalia County. Excited today to host two English language arts experts. We are in the second of a four-part series where we're looking at all of our content areas. I'm Amber Nichols, your host, and I am joined by these brilliant minds. We have Kevin Colistra, who is our instructional support leader, and Aimee Henkins, who is our elementary compliance specialist. Did I get those titles correct?
Yes.
Nice. All right. We are going to jump in to the words, the wonder, and the writing of English language arts. I am ready for this. I bet you are too. I'm going to start with a this or that series. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. We're just going to go first thing to your mind. You ready? Okay. I'm excited for this. Grammar guru or literature lover?
Literature lover.
Well, they work hand in hand with each other, but literature lover.
Literature lover it is. Shakespeare or Shel Silverstein?
Shel Silverstein.
Shel Silverstein.
Hey, all right. Oh, this one's a good one. And this is definitely a point of contention in our office. Oxford comma or Who Needs It?
Oxford comma.
100% Oxford comma. The goal is clarity. You got to have the Oxford comma.
My side. The person running the camera is very excited to hear that. Teaching poetry or persuasive essays?
Ooh.
I know that poetry.
Go hand in hand, but...
Oh, I didn't expect that from you. Okay.
Poetry.
Oh, wow. All right. The Raven or Romeo and Juliet?
The Raven.
I guess I'll say Raven.
Okay, all right. All right. How about peer editing? Are we using pens or digital comments?
Pens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's most effective for sure.
Most effective. All right.
Yes.
Nice. Read aloud or silent reading?
Read aloud.
Yes, read aloud.
Yes. All right. Spelling bee champion or debate team MVP? Both are
Debate
important.
team MVP.
Okay. What are you going to go with?
I'll go spelling.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, let's end it with book fair hype or author visit excitement.
Author visit excitement.
I agree.
All right, nice. Well, let's start and let's just tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey through Monongalia County Schools or before, and what settled you into this role. We'll start with you, Kevin.
Okay, so I started out as an English teacher for many years. I taught North Carolina, then I came up and been in Monongalia County now about 15 years. Taught English, taught about every different level of English you can imagine. Wound up teaching a lot of AP, language and composition at Morgantown High School before I transitioned into my latest role, which is instructional support leader. In this role, I spend a lot of time working with teachers, doing coaching, working with our PLC leaders, and really our main goal with that is to raise engagement and rigor in all of our classes. When we have students leave Morgantown High School, we want them to be active learners and rigorous thinkers. So that's our goal, and we work through the school, we work through PLCs, we work through observing one another, and just to make our instruction as effective as possible.
Sounds like a really cool job.
It is.
I bet with your background you bring so much to the table, and I'm sure that the teachers are just thriving having you there.
Yeah, we have great teacher leaders, and that's another thing we focus. You know, we want all the expertise of all of our teachers to teach one another. It's really the best professional development you can get is by learning through other teachers. So we try to celebrate that as much as possible, and you know, just try to continue to develop our own instruction and our own pathways, you know, to being effective teachers.
I think that's the one thing that people don't understand about the teaching profession, right? Is that we are lifelong learners, and of any profession that I know of, we have to be actively seeking that learning as well. So awesome. All right, what about you?
So I'm born in Morgantown, have been in Morgantown my whole life.
Yes.
Have always worked for Mon County Schools.
Love that.
I started out as a third grade teacher, and then I moved to Title I when Milan Park Elementary opened, so I worked with K through 5. And then I was an attendance specialist for a few years at Title I schools, yes. And now I'm in my current position. So even though my job description or my job title is compliance specialist, so I do all the federal programs monitoring and all that paperwork. I work closely with the 10 academic coaches at the elementary school level, and then I work closely with Norma Gaines, our director of elementary curriculums.
That is so fun. I bet you get so much just inspiration from our academic coaches because we have such great
they are
academic
great.
coaches.
It's a great group.
So what's your role in like guiding and facilitating their work?
So we have monthly meetings. So basically we get a lot, currently we get a lot of things from the State Department.
Sure.
So it's basically us going through that stuff and then giving them that information, and then they take it back to the schools. In my job, I don't work specifically with a lot of teachers directly. And we do have some people that work with me in my office that do that, but I work with academic coaches and they take it back to the schools.
Which they're the heartbeat of the schools, right? They're in there with every classroom. So you are reaching, you have a far reach, my friend. Awesome. Well, let's jump into those questions. I want to know, we are ending the school year, right? I can't believe it. It's Maycember. I love that new term. It's Maycember. So what can you say are the highlights specifically with English language arts in both of your roles? What are you seeing? What's your perspective? What can we celebrate in Monongalia County? We'll start with you.
So at the elementary level, we've worked a lot with the research-based practices through the science of reading. Through the West Virginia Department of Education, they have been good about getting us the stuff that's nationally research-based, and then we've been kind of a leader in West Virginia, in Mon County, getting that to our teachers and getting that information out.
That is definitely cause to celebrate, right? Are we seeing any research or any data yet to show that the research-backed things that we're doing in the classroom are working, or is it too soon?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay, we'll take it. That's a good celebration. How about you, Kevin? What do you think?
So, we put a lot of work within our classrooms with the instruction, but we also can celebrate kind of the pathways that we've created, the opportunities. We're trying to create as many opportunities as we can for students when they reach high school. So, we have AP testing going on this week. We have hundreds of students between AP Language and Composition and AP Literature and Composition taking their exams this week, which is the end result of rigorous instruction throughout the entire school year. And really, we start that instruction in 9th grade, preparing our students for that. Dual enrollment is taking off. We have more and more dual enrollment, dual credit students and sections of that. And next year we actually going to partner with WVU, which is really exciting for us. So students will have that opportunity, and we have even more sections coming next year of rising 11th graders taking dual enrollment opportunities. And then we also have another program called AP Capstone. And which it's a research-based class, which next year students are going to be able to start taking in 10th grade. So we'll have instead of taking English 10 or English 10 honors, they'll have this opportunity to take an AP Capstone class, or an AP seminar class, which will turn into an AP Capstone, which is a research-based class. So they're learning all of these college skills that they need to be successful. So really, those opportunities that we're having more opportunities for students to learn at a higher level and actually follow pathways and earn college credits while they're in high school.
Our kids are so lucky to be able to have that resource. I mean, to come out of high school with all of these college credits, I mean, that is such a gift. Awesome. Well, I know that you're both goal-oriented people. You wouldn't be in your roles if you weren't. So what are the goals for next year? What do we have on tap for English language arts as our goal for 2025 and 26? We'll start with you this time, Kevin.
So we'll continue. We're actually working with some of our curriculum specialists here at the county level to really have more learning walks and more opportunities for observation and coaching one another to find the best instruction, and with a real focus on student engagement.
Love it.
We're also, the English department's doing a lot of work on visible thinking routines, on formative assessments to kind of see where students are throughout the school year, so they can adjust that so that they do well, on the standard testing, on the SAT exam at the end of the year. A big goal for next year is also we've had some difficulties at high school finding effective benchmark testing. But through some work with the county level, with Sandy DeVault, we found a program called Horizon, which we're going to roll out next year, which we're going to use for our benchmarks, which actually mimics the SAT exam and the PSAT. So we're going to start getting some really important data on our students, where they are, not just with their knowledge base, but also working towards that SAT score, which is really important as a result of the learning going on at our school, but also for Promise Scholarship and for scholarships as students go to college.
Wow, that's big news.
Yeah.
How about in the elementary world? What are we looking at?
So with the research-based practices, we have the knowledge, and we've been working on that for the last 2 years. It's just getting the knowledge into practice, and it just takes some time. And the teachers have embraced it. It's just a lot, and it's a big adjustment. So continuing that practice.
And I love what you said earlier, that we really are a leader in the state in this. This wasn't new information for us. This was really something that we already had under our belt. So I'm glad that you talked about that we were really a leader in the entire rollout.
In the state.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really thanks to people like you. That's good. That's good. All right. So I like this question, and I think it's important as teachers that we share the knowledge and the expertise, especially when we have people that are so knowledgeable. But what is one strategy or approach that you found the most effective when we're talking about sparking a love for reading and writing? We want our kids to just love what they do when it comes to reading and writing. So how does that look different in elementary? I'm sure it looks different in elementary as it does in high school, but what is one approach? If we're talking to parents or teachers, what is the one thing that you would say really can help your kids spark that love of writing and reading, which is what we want? We'll start with you.
Read aloud.
Oh, okay.
Which was, you're this and that, which I think we both picked read aloud.
Yeah, it's true.
Read aloud is just a way, and you're never too old for read aloud. So read aloud is just a way for the teacher or anybody to show that they're passionate about something. And it doesn't even have to be a book. It can be a newspaper article. It could be the title of something. But showing that passion would hopefully spark some passion in the student. I know even just not even, I'm going to talk about the high school level because my children, I mean, Mia's graduated and then my son is currently in high school. High school kids don't tell you a lot about their day,
right,
especially with the academics, but the times their teachers have read something aloud to them, they have shared that. And not even in the moment, but just eventually it will come up in conversation. So shout out to the high school teachers that are still reading aloud.
I love that. And I love when you said it doesn't matter what age group. Like reading aloud is important. Thank you. That's a good one. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, and I think what reading aloud does, it makes the reading, the literature come alive for the students. And then taking that, I think what's really important, which we do a lot of work on, is opportunities for collaborative learning within the students. Students, the best thing about literature is that it's supposed to be discussed between people.
Right.
You're supposed to have debate about it. You're supposed to find connections with it, with other people, how they reacted to it. So we have to continue to have those opportunities for students to talk amongst themselves about, the struggles that they see that characters having within the literature, how they can connect with that. And having those opportunities just allows students to understand how it affects their own lives and it becomes part of themselves.
Very nice. Brilliant people. Brilliant. You make me want to go get a book and just read aloud. Maybe that's what we should do for the next segment. Okay. So what does good quality ELA instruction look like? You're in classrooms all the time. You see it. We have phenomenal teachers in our county. I mean, top notch. What does good quality ELA instruction look like at both levels? We'll start with you this time, Kevin. What does it look like in the secondary world?
Well, I think it's there's a few parts to it for sure, and they all work together. We talked earlier when you were with the grammar or the literature, and really both of them you have to know the basics of what good language is, what language looks like, and then students need to be able to apply that and find that within literature, within writing. So the exploration of the diction, of word choice, how writers use that, and to get an appreciation of what that is. Also, good quality English classroom talks a lot about rhetoric. The art of argument and what that looks like, and persuasion, and how others try to persuade us, and how we can use those tools to persuade others. So, really focusing on those two things, and just. I said it earlier, just collaboration. Students having the opportunity to collaborate with one another. So much learning can be done now online through virtual classes and things like that, but that's missing the whole point of an English classroom, which is open, which there's different viewpoints and there's opportunities to discuss and bring things to the characters or to the stories or to the poetry, finding symbols, what they mean to different people. So, and that's what it has to be, just the understanding of the language and the literature, and then the opportunity to discuss it.
I love it.
So I'm going to break mine up: elementary, K2, and then 3-5.
Okay.
So K2 is more the foundational skills, which includes phonological awareness, phonics. There's still, vocabulary, there's still comprehension, but the focus is those foundational skills. For the 3-5 level, you still have those foundational skills. They're just more advanced, but then there's more of a focus on learning that content and focused on comprehension and vocabulary.
Love it. Love it. So if you could share one piece of advice with fellow ELA instructors, they're striving to elevate their practice. Like, we want to take this up a notch for our students. That's what we're striving to do. What would that one piece of advice be? You have the summer, let's kind of collect our thoughts, reflect on the year as we all do in the summertime. But what piece of advice would you give to a fellow ELA teacher that's just wanting to elevate their practice? And we'll start with you this time, Aimee.
So especially a new teacher, you get in at elementary, you get into your classroom and you have those students all day long. They don't leave your room. I mean, they leave your room for small periods of time, but they don't leave your room. Taking advantage of every single minute. The small minutes can be magical in an elementary classroom. Just lining up for lunch, getting a drink of water after recess, transitioning to the music classroom. Just having conversations with those students during that time, and it could be reviewing concepts that you've learned in your ELA, but it's also building language development if you're talking to the students, and it's a great opportunity to build relationships during those small minutes. So make every minute count.
I love that. That's such a small, something that we don't really think about, but it's very powerful. I appreciate that. That was really good. All right, hard to beat. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it's important for any English teacher, really starting out or however long, veteran teachers, to continue to read, to continue that practice of loving to read, to finding new ideas, to finding new texts. We have a foundation of the texts we teach, and probably we've read a lot of those, and a lot of students are reading these classic pieces of literature. But what new voices can we find out there that connect to us, that we can then help allow the students read? Different voices. How do they relate to the classic pieces of literature? So you have to be, and you said it earlier, as a lifelong learner. If in order to be a really strong English teacher, we have to continue to read and keep growing and learning different voices out there, different struggles that characters are having, and then relating them back to the students.
So important. Reading is the key for everything. I mean, once you give a student that key to be able to read, I felt that way in the kindergarten room, and when you talked about K-2, you have just given them the key to the rest of their life, and continuing that into the high school world is so important. Thank you for what you do. Your work is so foundational for everything, and we're really appreciative of what you guys bring to Monongalia County Schools. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. That's it for this episode of Motivation and Momentum, the second part in our 4-part series looking at our content areas. Join us next time when we're talking about social studies. Until then, have a great day.